Imagine this. She's standing right in front of you, her body trembling with a silent longing, sending signals so clear that they're impossible to miss if you know how to recognize them. Many men overlook these subtle yet powerful sexually charged cues. But what if you could interpret her unspoken desires? What if you could tell, without a doubt, that she was craving intimacy, right there, in that moment? In the next few minutes, I'll uncover the unmistakable signs a woman's body reveals when she's aroused and longing for you. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be able to spot these signals effortlessly and make her desire for you even stronger. Before we dive in, could you do me a quick favor? Please hit that like button. It helps us keep bringing you valuable insights. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest content. While women may not openly initiate sex as men often do, their bodies reveal a lot when they're feeling aroused. Instead of directly expressing their desires, they often use subtle, subconscious cues to signal their interest in intimacy. Lips, the silent invitation. When a woman bites or licks her lips, it's far from an innocent habit. It's a tantalizing, subconscious display of her growing desire. Her lips, soft and inviting, become the messengers of her unspoken lust. Psychological studies on nonverbal communication reveal that lip biting is deeply tied to nervous excitement and sexual tension. It's her body's primal response to a sexual stimulus, a reaction she likely isn't even aware of. As her arousal builds, her lips swell ever so slightly, a natural reaction to the increased blood flow surging through her. This heightened sensitivity amplifies her desire, and biting her lips becomes a way to channel the energy coursing through her body. It's as if her lips are silently calling out, inviting your attention, your touch. In that heated moment, her mind is likely racing with thoughts she's too shy or hesitant to express aloud. Erotic scenarios play out in her imagination. Your lips on hers, the warmth of your breath mingling, or the thrilling anticipation of your touch exploring more intimate places. Lip biting becomes her subtle way of soothing herself, an attempt to rein in her cravings while broadcasting her inner thoughts loud and clear. If you catch her biting or licking her lips while her eyes linger on you, take notice. Her body is speaking a language of seduction, and those lips are more than just an innocent feature. They're a silent promise of passion, a hint of what she's yearning to share with you. She's imagining the sensation of your kiss, the electricity of your connection, and perhaps even the way your touch might ignite her skin with pleasure. The question is, will you answer her unspoken invitation? Touch, the warm invitation. Touch is a language of its own, and when a woman is drawn to you, her touch becomes a tantalizing expression of her growing desire. Unlike words, touch carries a primal urgency, speaking directly to your senses in ways that ignite anticipation. Research on physical affection reveals that when a woman is aroused, her body craves connection, even if she doesn't openly act on her feelings. Instead, her touches are subtle, deliberate, and filled with meaning. When she's feeling the heat of attraction, she'll find ways to bridge the distance between you, her fingers brushing against your arm or her hand lingering just a little too long on your thigh. These seemingly innocent gestures are anything but. They're the physical embodiment of her inner yearning, her way of saying, "I want more." Even the gentlest stroke of her fingertips against your neck or the warmth of her palm grazing your chest carries an electric charge, sparking a deeper hunger for intimacy. But when her hands venture into bolder territory, like the sensitive curve of your lower back or the tantalizing expanse of your inner thigh, the signals are impossible to ignore. Her touch is no longer casual. It's deliberate, testing your reaction, inviting you to reciprocate her growing desire. Each caress becomes a calculated move, a way to close the emotional and physical gap between you, her body language revealing the longing she may hesitate to voice. Behind these intimate touches lies a surge of oxytocin, the so-called love hormone that spikes when arousal sets in. This hormone fuels her craving for closeness, intensifying her need for your presence and touch. The warmth of her hand, the way her fingers linger on your skin, or the way she leans in closer. It all signals one thing. She's ready and waiting for you to take control, to elevate the tension into something undeniable. The more daring her touch becomes, the clearer her intentions are. Her actions are a challenge, a plea, and a promise all at once. She's handing you the reins, letting you know that she's ready for you to take the next step. and explore the unspoken invitation her body has been extending. The question is, will you respond to her fiery, wordless plea? Hips, the ancient signal. A woman's hips are timeless emblems of fertility, sensuality, and raw sexual allure. When she's aroused, her entire body seems to come alive, but it's her hips that steal the show. They move differently, with a rhythm and sway that are almost hypnotic, drawing your attention in ways that feel both deliberate and irresistible. This motion, deeply rooted in evolutionary instincts, is a primal display of her sexual readiness, an unspoken invitation that transcends words. As she becomes more aware of her own desire, her movements shift. Her hips take on a slow, deliberate sway, each step infused with a seductive rhythm that seems designed to capture your focus. Psychologist Dr. Carl Grammer's research on body language highlights how this heightened awareness amplifies the way she carries herself, turning even the simplest act of walking into a captivating performance. Her body knows what it's doing, even if she doesn't consciously realize it. When she knows you're watching, her movements become even more enticing. Her steps might seem casual, but there's an undeniable intent behind the way her hips roll, the way her body sways with an almost teasing allure. Every motion is an invitation, a silent yet provocative gesture, daring you to notice, to follow, to want her more. She's showing off her curves in a way that's instinctive, primal, and deeply erotic, as if her hips are whispering promises of intimacy and passion. In moments of heightened arousal, her movements become even more fluid, like a sensual dance meant solely for your eyes. The way her body shifts, the exaggerated yet graceful swing of her hips, all speak to the heat simmering within her. It's not just a walk, it's a performance of desire, a tantalizing signal that she's feeling the pull of attraction and is silently begging you to respond. If you tune into this ancient seductive signal, you'll see that her every step isn't just about moving, it's about tempting. Her hips are speaking to you, drawing your attention and igniting your imagination with the promise of what could happen if you were bold enough to accept her unspoken challenge. Are you ready to meet her rhythm with your own? Eyes, windows to her desire. A woman's eyes can be the most potent and seductive tool in her arsenal, revealing her deepest desires without her saying a single word. If you've ever caught her gaze lingering just a little too long, you've already felt the unspoken connection she's trying to create. The eyes are a direct pathway to her arousal, and when she's sexually attracted, they betray her, dilating ever so slightly in response to the surge of dopamine flooding her brain. This involuntary reaction, driven by the pleasure chemical, signals that she's captivated by you in ways she might not even realize. When her desire builds, her eyes become magnetic, unable to resist following you. She may glance at you when she thinks you're not looking, only to quickly look away when caught, her lips curling into a subtle, knowing smile. Yet her gaze keeps returning, unable to hide the pull she feels. It's not just a look, it's a silent confession, her mind screaming thoughts her lips dare not voice. Research on interpersonal attraction shows that even fleeting moments of prolonged eye contact can ignite an undeniable spark of sexual chemistry. But when her eyes lock onto yours and linger, there's no mistaking her intentions. She's letting you in, inviting you to see the fire building within her. You might notice her gaze flickering down to your lips, her body, or even tracing the outline of your form, as if she's imagining what it would feel like to be closer, much closer. Her pupils dilate further, a subconscious sign that her attraction is intensifying, and her gaze may soften, becoming more intimate, almost vulnerable. The way she looks at you is both an invitation and a tease, her eyes saying everything she's too shy or too bold to articulate. The flicker of her eyes between your lips and your body tells a story of anticipation, a silent fantasy playing out in her mind as she imagines the heat of your breath on hers or the way your touch might electrify her skin. When her glances turn into a rhythmic back and forth, as if she's struggling to decide whether to hold your gaze or let her fantasies consume her, you know she's already lost in the moment. Her eyes are speaking a language only you can understand, drawing you in, daring you to respond. With every lingering look, every quick flicker to your lips or shoulders, she's whispering her desires louder and louder. The question remains, will you meet the intensity of her gaze and let her eyes pull you into the world she's silently imagining? Or will you let the opportunity for connection slip through the cracks of an unspoken moment? Arousal is written in the subtleties. A woman's arousal isn't announced with bold declarations. It's woven into the fabric of her movements, her gestures, and her gaze. Unlike men, whose cues are often more overt, her signs are subtle but smoldering with intensity. When she bites her lips with nervous excitement, brushes her fingertips against your skin, sways her hips with deliberate allure, or locks her dilated eyes onto yours, she's speaking a silent, seductive language that transcends words. Her body is revealing what her lips might not dare to say. She wants you. These nonverbal cues, as psychologists have long noted, are powerful tools of attraction. They create a magnetic energy, pulling you closer without a single word spoken. Each gesture is an invitation, a plea for you to step into the moment and claim what's been so clearly offered. When her body begins to communicate this way, she's already teetering on the edge of desire, waiting for you to close the gap with confidence. Recognizing and responding to these signals not only fuels her attraction, but also deepens the emotional and physical connection between you. The moment you match her silent invitation with bold action, you affirm her unspoken desires, creating a chemistry that's undeniable. She doesn't want hesitation, she wants assurance, the kind that tells her you see her, feel her, and want her just as much as she wants you. So the next time you notice her sending these electric signals, whether it's the hypnotic sway of her hips, the lingering touch on your arm, or the way her eyes seem to pull you into her world, don't hold back. Step forward, meet her intensity with your own, and let the sparks fly. Picture this. She's biting her lips, brushing her fingers against your arm, her hips swaying in perfect rhythm, and her eyes locking onto yours with an intensity that speaks louder than words. It's as if her entire body is daring you to make the next move. This video is your ultimate guide to mastering the art of seizing the moment. By the end, you'll know exactly how to navigate these intoxicating signals and turn her subtle invitations into unforgettable moments of passion. Think of this as your inside track, armed with wisdom drawn from psychological research and timeless lessons on body language. Experts like Dr. Carl Grammer and studies on nonverbal cues have broken down these behaviors to their essence. When you understand the subtle art of her signals, you'll move through this landscape like an experienced explorer, confident and ready. This is where the journey truly begins. You've noticed the signs, the subtle lip bite, the lingering gaze, the way her touch lingers a little too long to be accidental. These are her cues, clear as day, inviting you to make a move. But stepping into uncharted territory requires more than recognition. It requires boldness. Confidence isn't just an attitude here, it's your armor, the foundation of every step you take. Start small and steady. Don't rush to close the gap between you. Instead, let your movements be deliberate and smooth. Hold her gaze just a moment longer than you usually would, letting the tension between you simmer. Smile. Not just any smile, but one that suggests you know exactly what she's thinking. Stand close enough to let her feel your presence without invading her space. With every glance, every subtle touch, show her you're attuned to her energy and willing to lead the way. This is your moment to communicate without words, to let her feel that you understand her unspoken desires. Confidence doesn't mean being loud or aggressive. It's about showing her that you're grounded, self-assured, and ready to meet her halfway in this thrilling dance of attraction. Now comes the test of your confidence and ability to read her cues. This is where doubt might creep in, whispering uncertainties. Asterisk. What if I'm wrong? What if I misread her intentions? These thoughts can paralyze you, but hesitation is your biggest enemy. Women are highly intuitive, and they'll sense your uncertainty faster than you think. To navigate this moment, you need to stay grounded in the signals she's giving you. Pay close attention to her body language. It's your roadmap. Does she lean into your touch, her body moving closer to yours as if seeking warmth? Does her laughter come easier, her voice softening as she speaks? Watch her eyes. Do they dart between your face and your lips, lingering just a little longer each time? These are the subtle affirmations you need to proceed. Trial moments are also where pacing becomes crucial. Move too fast, and you risk overwhelming her. Move too slowly, and the spark might fade. Your job is to find the balance, to match her rhythm without overstepping. A light touch on her hand, a playful yet meaningful comment, or a slight lean toward her to close the gap between you. All these actions build trust and anticipation. When her responses mirror your advances, you'll know you're on the right track. The air is thick with unspoken tension now, every glance and touch charged with possibility. Her body language is no longer subtle. It's deliberate, intentional, and unmistakable. Her gaze locks onto yours, her pupils slightly dilated as her lips part just enough to suggest her thoughts are racing. Her breathing is slower, deeper, and you can feel the heat rising between you. This is where the stakes heighten, and every move matters. Your approach should be as much about control as it is about passion. Don't rush to claim her. It's the anticipation that makes the moment electric. Lean in just enough for her to feel the warmth of your breath, your eyes flickering between hers and her lips. Whisper something soft, intimate, and just for her, letting your voice drop slightly to convey confidence and desire. Let your touch be deliberate. A hand on her lower back, fingers brushing against her arm, or a light stroke along her jawline sends powerful signals of intimacy. These subtle gestures bridge the gap, allowing her to feel your intent while leaving her yearning for more. The tease is essential here. Leave her hanging on the edge, craving the release that only you can provide. Let the moment stretch out, every second building toward the inevitable connection that neither of you can resist. This is the tipping point, the moment when hesitation or misstep could break the magic. If you rush, you risk overwhelming her. If you hesitate too long, the spark could fizzle out. Balance is key. Slow down and let her actions guide you. Look for those final confirmations, the way she moves closer, the flush of her skin, the slight parting of her lips as if waiting for you to make your move. The treasure is not just her physical response, it's the connection you've built by paying attention, matching her energy, and showing confidence. When you finally lean in for that kiss, or let your hand explore hers more intimately, you're not just fulfilling her unspoken desires, you're creating a moment she'll remember. With the treasure in hand, you've overcome the doubts, the hesitation, and the fear of misreading her. You've stepped up with confidence and read her cues with precision, and now, the chemistry between you is undeniable. This is the result of truly understanding her nonverbal language and responding in kind. As the night unfolds, everything comes full circle. The signals you once read have transformed into an intimate connection. She feels seen, understood, and desired, and you've proven that you can rise to the occasion with charm and confidence. That's the power of mastering her subtle cues. Thank you for tuning into Psyche Institute. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating insights into attraction and connection. Until next time, take charge and make every moment count.